Welcome, Chris. It's been a pleasure to get to spend some time with you. I know that you were here with Bank of Oklahoma, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about code security and some of the initiatives that you and your team are using to solve developer security inside of your organization. Can you explain to me a little bit about why the gravity of why securing your developer software development lifecycle is so important to the Bank of Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think for everybody, the big aha moment happened with SolarWinds and in the immediate aftermath, when everybody realized how critically important it was to secure things as small as API keys that might be leaked accidentally into Git repos or productivity tools like Jira and Confluence. We saw how a single mistake by a relatively young developer cost that company and honestly, all sorts of organizations a lot.
Yeah, I think that the blast radius for secrets is disproportionate to what I think most people see when they look at a hard-coded secret in their code. They think, oh, I'll just go back and fix it a little later on down the line. And the unfortunate thing is sometimes people don't realize that those secrets leak, and it's not but 2 or 3 months later that actual key may be used and compromised. So you think that you're okay and you're in the clear. Can you say that, how are you integrating code security into your software development lifecycle today? What kind of controls do you have in place to protect your developers from themselves, if you will?
Yeah, so we've got it integrated in a couple different points. The first is on the Git repo itself. So every time a developer does a commit, that commit is scanned for API secrets and some other stuff, secrets in general. If those are found, an incident is created, and we've had tremendous success with that. The goal, right, is to prevent all other SolarWinds type compromise. We had a developer who had AWS API keys. He accidentally committed them into the Git repo, and we were alerted to that incident and were able to remediate it in less than 5 minutes.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, total exposure. So, I mean, that's the win right there. We're also integrated into productivity tools. So we're looking for secrets being leaked into Jira and Confluence, which is another place where it's all too easy to accidentally put something because I'm documenting what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where it used to be so common to have your configs in a .env file on your local machine or in your environment variable in your bash RC or something like that. And now we're finding that that practice has definitely outaged itself, if you will, and this developer security is definitely opened up.
And even past that, I think a lot of at least our developers have gotten used to the idea that okay. So I can't have like hard-coded secret values in files. That's not okay anymore. But all too often, it's not that. It's, okay, I'm trying to get this to work locally. I'll temporarily hard-code this variable, and then they forget about it.
Sure. And going back and rewriting Git history and things like that, that was the interesting part of SolarWinds, right? Where it wasn't just the fact that it was hard-coded in the source code. Somebody did go in and scrub it, but it was hiding down deep into the Git commit history that an attacker went and found. And I think that shows that, the everyday practitioner that is writing code may not think of the ramifications of their Git history as being a potential attack vector.
That's right. That's why it's so critical that as soon as that sort of incident happens, the only response is to revoke the API secret itself and re-provision it. Yeah. So, kind of that second day operations is so important. And, Checkpoint has created a tool that allows us to receive that event immediately and then integrate it into our SOAR activities so that we can respond to it in an extremely quick and effective manner.
I think speed is key, right? And that's one of the key differentiators. What we're doing with code security was our main goal was to make it fast and get out of the way of developers because, guardrails tend to be friction, and the more friction that you have, developers will find ways around it. And we wanted to kind of create a tool that was for developers, by developers, in a way that gets out of their way, but also acts as kind of a friend that's keeping an eye on them and keeping them honest. What do you see the future of code security and secret scanning like this moving into? Because I think that the number of attacks has definitely not decreased, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on where do these kinds of software development security tools end up in the future?
Great question. I think shift left has been super valuable. It got a little bit buzzwordy for sure, but I think it has been super valuable in prioritizing the need to get the information to the developers as soon as possible. When I started in IT, it was perfectly acceptable for QA to run 30 days behind when a developer made a mistake. They're getting that feedback. And the context switching is so expensive when you operate in that manner. And shift left has progressively shortened the latency and the cycle time of developer doing something we don't like, giving them the information to fix it before it gets very far down the process, saving on context switching, and really improving how quickly we can flow through the entire process. So right now, I think the most common inflection point is in the merge process itself. I think maybe getting into the IDE is that next step, but developers really love their IDEs and can be very sensitive about anything added to it. So
absolutely, yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that integrating more of these tools closer to developers, but continue to stay out of their way, is the future of our ability to protect our organizations.
Right. Ideally, this would be a pre-commit check that happened before the Git push happens. Like that would be the, I think, perfect inflection point to stop the event from happening in the first place, rather than where we are today, which is we see it as soon as it does happen and then go into a remediation. Prevention is always better than remediation.
I love it. That's the killer line right there. So, Chris, in closing, is there anything else that you would like to share about code security and your experience working with Checkpoint's code security products?
I really appreciate having access to very innovative tools that have been able to meet the security needs really as the market was evolving. This product was, to the best of my knowledge, the first one to exist that really addressed the need. They timed the market just right and have been a fantastic partner, have materially improved our security with several real events that they've been able to detect and give us protection against. So we're very grateful for our Checkpoint partnership.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, and I'm really glad you were able to join us today. Thank you.
Thank you.